Hello and welcome to Anden's channel, my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Jean Grey. Jean Grey. Jean Grey is one of my favorite X-Men comic book characters. She's been dead now since 2003, and in the comics currently we have a young teenage Jean Grey running around. Adult Jean Grey is coming back into the comics this year, and speaking of things that's happening this year for Jean Grey, she got her very own comic book featuring the young teenage Jean Grey from the past that's now in the present. It's comic books, it's confusing. But yeah, so not only does she have her own comic book titled Jean Grey, she's also leading her very own team of X-Men in the X-Men comic book X-Men Blue. This year has literally been like my dream for comic books. Jean Grey, who's been neglected for so long, is getting all of this attention, and I'm just eating it up. Like, both Jean and the Phoenix and the Phoenix Force, you know, has appeared in multiple comics now this year, and it's fucking amazing. And then in the latest Jean Grey comic, spoilers, in case you guys, yeah, we have a ghost version of adult Jean, the Jean who died 14 years ago or something. It's a fucking team up with her and Emma Frost trying to save young teenage Jean from the Phoenix, and it's like it's everything I've ever wanted, like for 10 years now, and it's great. Most of my for Jean Grey comes from the first two X-Men movies. That's mostly because of the whole telekinetic and telepathic powers, because that's the best fucking powers ever. And then of course in the X-Men cartoon, X-Men Evolution, I'm just like, yes, Jean. She's not even like the most interesting character in that cartoon, but it's just like, it's Jean, and she's badass, she's awesome, and those experiences have made me really like Jean, and it made me like go back to read the whole New X-Men, which is the storyline where she basically ends up dying. It also features the whole Emma Frost, Scott, and Jean love triangle, but we're not gonna talk about that. So now that I talk for like forever about why I like Jean, it's just so that you guys have like an understanding of when I'm gonna talk about this movie. It's not because I'm gonna be like, oh, who wants a movie about Jean Grey? I want a movie about Jean Grey. X-Men Days of Future Past, they kind of screwed it all up. The main X-Men movies have always been a bit of a mess. I mean, the only fucking awesome X-Men movie was of course like X-Men 2 and then First Class, and everything else there has ranged from good to we have Jean show up in the very mediocre X-Men Apocalypse movie. Don't get me wrong, the 3 minutes of Jean walking and whole Phoenix thing, that's the best thing I've ever seen. Like, I'm just like, this is incredible. Like, visually, yes, that's amazing, but story-wise and character-wise, I didn't like that scene because it didn't make any sense. Why would Jean be Phoenix, and why would I? But visually, basically what I'm trying to say is I am worried about Dark Phoenix. I don't think it's going to be very, very good. And I hope when the trailer comes out that it managed to prove me wrong and that it actually looks very promising. I mean, I'm going to gush whenever I see like Jean and Phoenix, and like that's just gonna happen. But if the story isn't good, yeah. Now here we are several minutes in, and let's talk about the actual thing. Entertainment Weekly released 2 pictures of Jean as the Phoenix, and then also some photos from the movie, and as well as a small little synopsis, so I'm gonna go through with all of them, but first, let's talk about the first 2 images of Jean Grey. Oh my god, I love it. I think this looks so good. It looks, you know, it's really, really phoenixy and all of that, but it also has some new elements to it with the whole skin cracking and all of that. Visually, it looks very, very good. And then we have the second picture, and it's just like, I think she looks really, really good. It makes me feel like, oh, I can't wait to see this movie, but then I have to be reminded of what type of movie it is, and I'm gonna be dialed back. But these 2 images, I really, really like. It really reminds me of that one like future storyline with Jean Grey's like resurrected once again, and she looks like very fiery, and like she has like a dark phoenix thing. There are also some other pictures. There's a picture of a spacecraft in space. Apparently they're gonna be on a mission into space, which is basically, you know, how the Phoenix Saga starts. That's a nice little march. I'm pretty sure you can see Jean in the middle there in space, like, and that's visually, I really like that shot. It looks very, very fun. Let's talk about something that I don't like. Let's talk about the way Mystique looks. Ironically, I think this is the most comic book accurate Mystique has ever looked. Like in regards to how red her hair is and the shade of blue that she has. But my god, she does not look very good in this image, does she? This is definitely the most brightest of blue Mystique has ever been, and I do not like the way it contrasts with her spots that she has. And then we also have the red wig, which it looks terrible because you can tell that it's a wig, and I feel like that's when a wig fails. When you can obviously tell that it's a wig and it doesn't even look that good. But hey, I can see that she's wearing an X-Men costume. Also, just for fun, here's Rebecca Romijn as Mystique in X-Men The Last Stand. Can you just like see the change in quality? Like, it's very, very startling. There's also a little synopsis, so let's take a look at that. Set in 1992, about 10 years after X-Men Apocalypse, the Dark Phoenix opens with the X-Men in new, unexpected roles. They are national heroes, and Charles Xavier even lands the cover of Time magazine. That's gonna be so fun. Seeing like the 90s X-Men, humans actually like the X-Men, they are national heroes. Seeing that Charles has finally, you know, gotten what he wants, you know, X-Men are treated fairly, they're fucking heroes. Yeah, that's fun. But Xavier's growing ego puts the team at risk. Pride is starting to get the better of him, and he's pushing the X-Men to more extreme missions, said Simon Kimber, their director. After they're dispatched to space for a rescue mission, a solar flare hits the X-Jet, and the surge of energy ignites a power-hungry new force within Jean, the Phoenix. That sounds like a very nice little like homage to the Phoenix Saga without doing like exactly the Phoenix Saga, because you can't really do that now with the X-Men movies having like Jean Grey's Phoenix whole thing being inside of her instead of being a Phoenix Force. There is no Phoenix Force in the X-Men movies, so but hey, at least they're trying. Jessica Chastain is apparently playing a shape-shifting character. That kind of puts me the wrong way. Why is she a shape-shifting character when Mystique is a shape-shifting character? Are we gonna have two of these in the same movie? That's gonna be a bit much. She apparently comes from another world. That's exciting though, a little bit of alien. And apparently it seems like she's going to play the role that the Hellfire Club played, like making Jean more into the Dark Phoenix, because that's what the Hellfire Club did, you know. Jean was Phoenix until the Hellfire Club fucked with her, and I feel like so many people forget that. They're always just like, Jean, Dark Phoenix, like, what about the fucking Hellfire Club? All in all, I'll be honest, on paper, the movie doesn't sound horrible. I don't have any expectations to it. I'm not really excited to see it, so I'm just gonna wait for a trailer and see what happens. But I do also want to know what you guys think about all of this. Like, are you excited about Dark Phoenix? How do you feel about Jean Grey? Do you hate Jean Grey? What do you think about the images? What do you think about this, like, little synopsis here? It's essentially like the beginning of the movie. Again, I want to hear all about your opinions as well, your thoughts. Write them in the comments. I would love to read them. And I'm gonna go now though, but I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'm just gonna see you guys whenever I see you guys next, and love you all, and goodbye.